My boyfriend told me something which I can't get out of my mind. So me and my BF have been in a relationship for 2 years and we both are very serious about the relationship. Both of our family has its own problems with marriage life and cheating. My dad cheated on my mom and even beats her up occasionally. Unfortunately happens to many households here in my country. Same with my BF. He has a stepmother right now because his mom died. This stepmom was with his dad even when his real mother was alive. I know, fucked up. So basically today we both were in conversation about broken families and how we plan to make our own after we get married. So after a while the convo changed to abuse after marriage and he said he is gonna beat his wife if she pisses him off too much. So of course I was like, you are joking, right? But no, he was serious. He was like, if I do a mistake and you keep crying and arguing about it even after I say sorry, I will have no other choice than to beat you. He even said something like, I won't beat you up so easily of course. However, the day I will beat you, you will remember that lesson forever and will think twice before making the same mistake again. And I ended the conversation saying there is still a long time and if he doesn't change this mindset till then I can just leave him that time. I said it to indirectly warn him about fixing himself. There is still a long way before our wedding of course, but isn't this a red flag? Of course it is. But I feel like what if it's normal to say all this to make me afraid and warn me so that I don't do any mistake and he is not actually gonna raise his hand on me? Or it's normal for him because his family is that way. He has a brother and sister-in-law too, and that brother also has a bad habit of beating up the sister-in-law very seriously. Please don't come to attack me for this post. Also, we are from Bangladesh and it still kinda has an old-fashioned mindset. Many girls I know tolerate their BFS who beats them up. I am from English medium so I am kinda woke about this stuffs and managed to figure out it's not normal behavior. My problem is I do really love him and don't want to end this relationship as he hasn't did anything like that till now. Comment. Yes, obviously you should leave a guy who tells you that he's going to beat you. Most abusers hide that they are abusers until someone is trapped. This dude is straight up telling you that he's going to beat you if you stay with him. He is telling you what the deal between you two is. The fact that you have been dating him for 2 years confirms that you agree with the rules he is stating every time you are together. Both of you come from abusive households. However, the references of behavior will be gender-based, meaning that he will follow the path of the abuser and you will follow the path of the resigned victim. You are not as special because you are in love with him and he dates you. People do not change just because someone else wants it. If you believe you deserve to be treated with respect, dignity, and harmony, then you know well what the answer is. Just because you are from a society where DV is something people are used to, it doesn't mean you have to follow that path because everyone does it and most women get beaten by their spouse. Believe that you deserve love, respect, safety, and dignity in a relationship. Just imagine that you marry him and you have a daughter. Would you want somebody to treat your daughter the way he said he's going to treat you if you don't listen to him or if you talk back? This man has just told you that if you don't adhere to what he says and does that he's going to beat you, and he's going to beat you so bad that you will remember it so that he won't have to beat you again. This is what you want in your life. This is what you think you deserve. Just imagine if somebody does that to your daughter. Just imagine if somebody told your daughter, if you get out of pocket, I'm going to beat you. This is not okay. This is not normal. You can leave before you get married, before he starts beating you, before you have children, before you get scared. You have a choice. Choose wisely. I have heard stories of men who, the day after the wedding, beat their wife hard and say, I am the boss now. You will do what I say and never argue with me, or this will happen every time. Your BF has told you, very clearly, that once you are married, his opinion is the only one that matters. Answer honestly, why would you make yourself his slave? Get rid of him now. He is flat out going to beat you to a pulp. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. He's telling you the truth. You are going to be a slave in a human pinata for him to do as he pleases. Please do not marry this guy. When you think you love him, ask yourself, could you love a person who will mentally torture you and physically beat you whenever they feel like it? That is what your BF will do to you. At this point, you would have to want to be beaten to stay with this guy. He is literally telling you that he would be doing it to you right now if he had the chance. Get out. Edit, you really don't seem to take this seriously at all, with smiley faces and saying haha about it, which makes me wonder if this is fake or you really do want to get beaten. Either way, it sounds like you need therapy. This isn't a joke. It's not funny, and you shouldn't be laughing. My boyfriend has never said anything like that to me. We have been dating for 8 months, friends for 8 years. He has held every door open for me, won't let me walk on the sidewalk toward the road, pays for everything, tries his best to make me happy, etc. He would never lay a hand on me, even if I did on him. Leave that man while you can. Story 2. My boyfriend keeps telling everyone I assaulted him and I'm having a hard time understanding what he's trying to gain from it. Sam and I met on Tinder almost a year ago and became official maybe 6 months after our first date. He's a great guy overall, but he's also, for the lack of better word, not very bright. And as more our relationships progressed, I saw that on top of being clueless about a lot of things that are considered common sense, he's also quite arrogant and never changes his beliefs even if presented with evidence. About a month ago we were in his apartment cooking dinner together. I had a bit of work to finish, so was sitting at the kitchen table with my laptop while Sam was preparing food. I told him just to wait 15 minutes max so I can join and help. He refused and continued loudly chopping and banging pots. I was already a bit annoyed but knew that telling him to let me finish won't make him quieter, so I got up and moved to the living room. A bit later he said, jokingly, that it's too much work for one person and he'll wait till I'm done with my work, grabbed his phone and went to the bathroom. What I didn't notice is that he left a pan with oil on a gas stove. Work took me a bit longer than I anticipated, and I guess I ignored the smoke smell for too long, and the moment I stepped into the kitchen to investigate it was too late and I saw oil catching fire. I yelled for Sam that the pan is on fire and tried to locate a big enough lid in an oven glove or a towel. Then I heard Sam's voice behind me saying, "Don't worry, I got this," and I see him approaching the stove with a huge carafe of water from his bedstand. My lizard brain took over and like in slow motion I jumped forward and pushed him as hard as I could away from the stove, finally saw a wok lid and slammed it over fire. My heart was racing so much from adrenaline that I didn't even realize for a few seconds that Sam was in my face yelling that I assaulted him out of nowhere and he's calling the police. My initial reaction was, haha, nice joke, dude, but then I realized he's serious. Apparently, after I pushed him, he fell and hit his head. But nothing serious because there was no blood and no signs of concussion. Carafe broke and there was water and glass everywhere. I was still in agitated state and apologized for pushing him, explaining that I was on autopilot probably and just saw him carrying water and had to act quickly. That was the moment when his arrogance came up and he began condescendingly lecturing me about how fires are put out with water and I'm probably dumb and think firefighters just shove flames away. Not gonna lie, I lost my cool then and began yelling at him that he's the biggest idiot I've ever met and he can just open an effing YouTube and see what happens when you add water to burning oil. But of course, he didn't listen and kept insisting all fire is put out with water and I'm just an abuser and hit him for no reason and he's gonna report me to the police because women are always get away with DV and male victims are forced to suffer in silence. At this point I just told him to go F himself, grabbed my stuff and went home. He didn't make an official police report but told his family and some of our mutual friends that he was just cooking peacefully and out of nowhere I assaulted him, pushed him on the ground and hit his head. Nothing about him leaving the pan on a gas stove, nothing about the fire and his ignorance about it. Literally keeps telling people I'm an abuser. To some smart people who reached out to me to hear my version of events I explained it fully, pointing out that I'm not saying I was right in pushing him this hard away, but from previous situations with him, I knew yelling "stop, don't throw water on the stove" would be pointless with him likely just ignoring me because he knows better. I think I'm still in some kind of a shock state imagining the aftermath of the situation if he managed to dump a whole carafe of water into that oil. So I simply messaged Sam asking to stop harassing me and we're over. But he keeps threatening me with filing a police report if I don't tell everyone the truth and explain why I assaulted him. Repeating over and over again and sending him links on what happens when you pour water over oil fire made no difference because he replied that it's fake and for the views and all. I don't know that you put out fire with water and I need to stop talking about this stove fire because it has nothing to do with my violent behavior. No idea what to do really. He keeps pushing the narrative about being DV victim. It's not ruined anything in my life, yet. Mostly because I realized that Sam never cared enough about my life and doesn't even know where exactly I work and never met my closest friends or family. So he didn't tell them or my boss this story, but some members of his family still message me asking why I did that and why I won't admit assaulting Sam. Should I just accept that he went too far and continue ignoring him hoping it will all go away? I have little faith in him actually going to the police with that, especially a month after. Comment. If someone next to me tried to dump water on a grease fire, I'd push them away from the area as hard as I could as fast as I could. 2. Let him file whatever report he wants. Nobody will take it seriously if events were as claimed. Yes, OP. Just ignore him, and you can also go ahead and say to the people that are harassing him, I saved his goddamn life from a grease fire. I don't know what the hell he's talking about with this abuse crap. Stop contacting me. Again, I saved his life from a fire. Goodbye. If he files a police report, he will at some point be forced to explain to the police why he omitted the rather crucial details about almost starting a fire in his kitchen because he somehow got to be 32 years old without knowing you don't dump water on burning oil. So, I hope he gets off on embarrassing himself needlessly. As for the why, he sounds like one of those people who's just really determined to be a victim so he can soak up as much attention and sympathy as possible. I am assuming that you have in writing through text messages him acknowledging that the shove happened in the midst of putting out a fire and denying that water can't be used to put out an oil fire. This corroborates your narrative. Take screenshots, back them somewhere, and use them to defend yourself if needed. Otherwise, block this idiot before he adds more drama to your life. So the hardest thing here is you have to work at coming to the conclusion that you will never understand why he is acting this way. He is being irrational, he is lying, he is being manipulative, he is not acting in any normal way here. You have to just accept that for a while, you will play this scenario in your head over and over again, and you will never come up with an understanding of this madness. Next is simply ignore him. If people reach out that you care about, tell them the full story, of course. But otherwise, block him and move on. If he does in fact reach out to the police, there is a 50% chance they literally do nothing at all. American here, so if you are somewhere else, maybe the percentages change. But in the likelihood the police do anything at all with his complaint, they will call you or come to your door, ask you a series of questions, and never return. On the slim chance they do more than that, your ex will have to show proof of injury and that it came from you for this to go anywhere else. All you have to say is there was a smoking pot of oil on the stove that he tried to put out with water, I pushed him out of the way. Even the best police officers aren't doing anything here. You aren't trying to live at his place, there's no property dispute. So the cops are just gonna be like, okay, stay away from each other and call it a day.